Well. Good morning, West Ham fans. Russ, the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well here for your morning headlines today. Thought we'd change up a little bit and do it rather than at museum, do it like a morning and get lunchtime headlines and your Hammers headlines in the afternoon. Just, give it a go, innit? 3 stories to talk about. One player leaving, one player possibly joining, and one decision by Potter. Simple. Let's talk about the person leaving now. Guerrero Rodriguez is someone who we are an open secret in that we would be happy for him to leave the club this summer. Real Betis were earmarked, but that sort of fell through. River Plate as well were a club that were interested in him, and that's fallen through. However, according to reports, Celta Vigo are interested in bringing the defensive midfielder back to La Liga this summer. Contacts have been acknowledged. I don't understand what that means for Rodriguez, but there are multiple conditions for the deal to be completed. Celta Vigo are currently focusing on improving their forward line. It's a good idea. Before they can get a deal for the midfielder done, while they also need a departure to be sanctioned before making a move. The main issue for this is his relatively high wages. He has reported annual salary of £2.6 million, which is something which is off-putting a lot of clubs. Now, there has been suggestions that Celta Vigo will be happy to take him off their hands if a percentage, and whether it's a loan with obligation or whether it is a straight sale, but there would need to be some sort of help with the wages, and that's the issue. It's the issue when you take when you sign a player on a free transfer, particularly, the chances are the wages will be higher because there's no signing on. There is a signing on, but there's no transfer fee, and so you come to a situation like we've got now where he's almost been priced out of a move outside of the Premier League, for example, and no one in the Premier League going to touch him. So I think West Ham will have to cut their losses and maybe having to subsidise some wages to get him off the books. Obviously, he played the first half. Is it the first half he played? Yeah, against Grasshoppers. And I think if you play just one of the slow coaches, it doesn't look so bad. But it's when you play them together, when it just looks like there's no pace. If you played a Guerrero Rodriguez against an energetic player like a Conor Gallagher, and actually that's not a stupid. He ain't actually a bad shout. Atletico Madrid are looking to maybe move him out because they need the money. We'll be linked to him soon, I'm pretty sure, because of that fact. But it doesn't work as a pairing. It could work if you paired him alongside with Ardon, a hard-on for Ardon Yashri. Now, according to reports coming out of Italy, I think is it Gazzetta dello Sport has mentioned it? No, it's not. It's Gianluca Di Marzio. He reports that so in terms of a timeline, Ardon was going to AC Milan, I think about 40 million euros. Now, according to Gianluca Di Marzio, he reports that the Serie A club are struggling to meet Bruges' demands. Now, we've had this a few times. We had it with Roma, obviously, not only their pursuit for Aguerd, but their pursuit for Richard Rios. And now we're getting it with Yashari. Now, Club Brugge apparently is standing firm on their valuation. It's around £35 million, 40 million euros. He's made it clear he wants to join Milan this summer. He has apparently already agreed personal terms, which means they're in pole position to sign him. However, they haven't got enough money in the old transfer kitty in terms of giving them the 35 million. And to be fair, Club Brugge want to get as much value out of their prized asset. Totally agree. He wasn't in the side which beats Union Saint-Gilloise in the Belgian Super Cup, where they won 2-1. In fact, the coach said he should return to training on Monday. However, in football, things can be difficult, and it's a truly complex decision. He's also confirmed that Ardon has agreed to return to training if a deal with Milan cannot be completed. But he admitted the Italian giants are not the only club interested in him. We know West Ham obviously have an interest in him. He's got 4 years left in his contracts. They're not really at a situation where they need to sell him. The fact is we do have a £30 million, £30 million burning a hole in our pocket, so to speak. And if we had some, there's some wiggle room on that valuation, I don't think it'd be a problem for West Ham, really. But then it's a case of convincing the player. It's a similar thing happened last year, wasn't it, with Juventus and Jean-Claire, and he's in the claret and blue shirt. He's not in a black and white shirt. So if there is a chance, I mean, he's a great player, and him alongside, I'm not saying Aguero Rodriguez, but a more defensive midfielder, obviously Freddie Potts or someone like it's now I've forgot his name for a minute. That would be pretty sexy midfield. But then we've been linked with a lot of players in that area as well. And we've got to get one of them eventually, surely. One area apparently we're not looking at is the forward line. According to where is it? There we go. Claret and Hugh. They suggest that West Ham or Graham Potter doesn't want any more forwards. And in fact, reallocating that budget to areas where there's more of a desperate need. Now, from a purely selfish perspective, I want a forward. Everyone wants forward. We want that 20-goal season player. Maybe with my head, that midfield needs more major surgery than probably our forward line. There is alternatives within the squad in that forward line, not necessarily superb. I mean, full crew, I think if we keep him fit is one thing, but looks mean, looks lean, looks ready, looks healthy. We can put Bow in there, although I don't like him there. We can put Somerville there, although I don't like him there, but we can. Callum Marshall's made a great account of himself. That great goal, well taken. There is a possibility. There is a Danny Ings shaped hole in the squad now for someone to step into. And it could be Callum. Callum could be that Danny Ings role this year, coming on 20 minutes left. And it could be. I mean, I think, and as much as it dismays me that we're not looking to get any more forwards, it could easily mean that someone like Callum can get a step up. Below that, we've got Josh Ajala and players, people like that, who could potentially step up. We've got Daniel Cummings as well, who we know there was some, as part of the negotiation, there was some reassurances of him being put into the pathway. So, there's him as well. So there's younger players. There's not and it's not sexy not wanting a forward. We all want those strikers, but according to reports, Potter wants to reallocate that budget that would normally go for the forward in other areas of the team, primarily midfield, which we know is the main catalyst. Now, it does seem we've been going from the back front in terms of sorting out that defense, getting some extra bodies in there, getting some cover as well. Goalkeeper, obviously, we've been heavily linked with Mads Hermansen from Leicester City. Now into midfield seems a natural progression. There's a dozen or so names, I reckon, of realistic targets. You've got Tyler Morton, you've got Harvey Elliott. I think Harvey is still a realistic target. You've got Ardon's partner in crime at Club Bruges, Raphael. We haven't we were pretty much all ready to him to go, weren't we? Come along, but that's got all quiet. James McAtee. We've got Sudakov from Shakhtar Donetsk. So there's many more as well. There's many more. Freddie Potts as well can obviously go alongside whoever he comes along with, and there is the ability to play Paqueta as a false nine as well. He's done that before. It's not the ideal showing, but clearly we've got a budget which we have to stick to. And would I prefer us to get a forward? Yes. Would I prefer us to get a forward in the expense of sorting out the midfield? No. If you had enough money to do both, yes, that's the obvious answer. But I can see why there isn't. And I think I still think there could be a slight possibility of if no one, because I'm not being funny, Antonio ain't signed up all these multi-million-pound deals that his agent said, still ain't got a club, So for me, there could always be a short-term deal with Mikhail just to tide us over. But yeah, I can understand the theory. Does it disappoint me? Yes, because I want strikers. I want people who are going to get us 20 goals a season. I want that, instinctive. I want someone clinical. But sort of the yin to the yang is, it gives an opportunity for someone like Callum Marshall to step up, gives some opportunity maybe Daniel Cummings to step up into that sort of Danny Ings berth within the squad. And I still think it does open the door for Mikel Antonio as well, potentially, on a short-term deal, maybe. Anyway, there's your morning headlines in association with me and the West Ham Network. If you're new around here, don't forget to give it a like, give it a comment, share. All helps the channel. Let me know what you think. Now, I know there's going to be lots of comments, possible forwards, but thinking a bit subjectively, for me, if you had to sort out one area in a squad, for me, it's midfield. That shadow of that makes everything tick. If you have a good midfield, the forwards have to track back, and they haven't got so much pressure on them as well. That midfield is crucial, and we desperately need some pace in that midfield, and some creativity as well. I think we've got enough forward stuff to cope, but it's that midfield which needs money. If it means reallocating the budget that we were going to look at getting forward with into getting the right midfield, so be it. Because we seem to be sorting the defence out a little bit. Goalkeeper needs sorting as well. There's a lot of surgery needed, and so I think you have to be a bit frugal with how things work. And you can go down and look at why do we have to be so frugal, because of past digressions, money poorly spent over the last number of years. We're in this position, but we are in this position. So we've got. For me, we can do the dissection afterwards. We're in the midst. We need to get some. We need to get some bodies in. We need to get something sorted. And we need to get this midfield sorted. Anyway. See you later, my friends. Much love.